So Arjunta asked this question about Gayatri Mantra, and let's see what we can share. You're welcome to interrupt or ask a question as we go along. Gayatri is name of the mantra as we popularly know, right? And we understand. And there's a Gayatri Devi who stands as the symbol for this mantra. But Gayatri is a chandas, is a meter in which it's chanted. The way these things are chanted, there are various different chandases. In Gayatri, it's called the chandas, in meaning the way it's composed, the meter in which it's composed. There are names for each of these meters, and this particular mantra was composed in this meter, and therefore it became Gayatri Mantra. That's how the name Gayatri comes in. But then Gayatri is also associated with one of the forms of Devi, and therefore this became so potent in mantra that a deity was associated with this. Now, how does deities get associated with mantras in general, even before we go to Gayatri? And I think I mentioned this earlier, but it's worth bearing in mind that if Gayatri is visualized as a Devi with 5 heads, and even in Baba's ashram, there is a statue which he permitted to be built. I haven't seen that because it was past my time, but I've seen pictures of that. How do these forms come into being? How do you think? You think somebody decided, you know what, I'm bored of the formulas, let me think of something new, and decided to create. Like, for example, Ganesha or any of these deities. The belief is that first comes a sound, always. Like, even in the Bible, they say first there was a word of God. First there was a word and the word was God, right, like that. So even here we believe the first was Om, and then from Om comes all. Om is, again, sound comes in space, and from space comes all the other elements, correct? So from sound comes everything. Even these deities, all of these deities that we believe are symbols, they are still symbolic. But all of these deities manifest the forms, the meaning of each of these. That's why they come with so much meaning in them, inherent in the symbolism of that. These deities are formed by the mantras. So these were chanted by yogis and siddhas for so long that the energy and the vibrations of these mantras began to form itself into a form and give visions. If you're thinking of something abstract as you go to sleep, let's say you're afraid of something, some deep fear is haunting you. I'm just giving an example, okay? It may apply to you, it may not apply to you, but I'm just using it as an example. Some deep fear is haunting you, and you go to sleep, and in the dream, you dream of, let's say, a snake that suddenly comes and chases you, and you're running away from the snake. Either you get bit by a snake or you escape, whatever. And then you wake up saying, oh my gosh, I don't know what it meant. It's possible that snake always represented in your mind fear of the unknown. And because at this point in life, or that point, few days, you've been completely kind of enveloped with that fear, it's representing, the snake therefore becomes a symbolic representation of that fear. You get what I'm saying? And we all experience that different points. It's something like this. So how does a snake manifest? It's a manifestation of your fear, psyche. It's coming to you. That's a symbolism. That's why dreams are all symbolic. You've got to understand that it's meaning something to me. In the same manner, think of it in this awakened state. If I want a mantra to manifest itself, then what form will it take? I will not know till I chant these mantras X number of times, or with intensity, or both. Intensity and length of mantras, and constantly chanting, the sound vibrations from within me creates a form that starts coming to me in visions. When that happens to you, it is believed that you are attaining, not attained, but close to attaining what is called siddhi of the mantra. That means the mantra is beginning to manifest itself in you. And the tradition is only then you begin to start initiating others with that mantra, or helping others with the mantra. When that mantra becomes begins to become manifest, you'll know that you'll know that it's like once you know the path, only the path to Walmart, can you tell somebody, hey, I know exactly where it is, right? Otherwise you're guessing and you're going to let people guess along with you. So that's the initiation part of it. But the beauty of the mantras and the deities associated is that's where it is. So why would Gayatri Devi have 5 faces and what it each all of it means? The best way to find it out is for you to chant. You might think, oh my God, that will take lifetimes. And I would tell you, it's worth it. Because when you can still adopt a form that is, given to us by the sages and the rishis and the seers. You can still take that form. That's going to help you. But that form will again has to re-manifest itself in your psyche. Because then you will begin to understand that there is cake on the table, but this is my share, a piece of that cake. I can actually experience it now, rather than just watching the cake, which everybody is watching. You know what I'm saying? So that is the energy of this mantra, any mantra. And Gayatri Mantra is very potent in that sense, because it has this possibility to manifest this enormous energy which represents enlightenment. The energy that brings an enlightenment to your consciousness. That is what it represents. Because in Gayatri Mantra, you are quote unquote praying for enlightenment. And we'll come to that concept of praying. There is no desire, there's no want there, there's no I there, there's nothing there. So it's not that I want enlightenment, please give me enlightenment. There's English translations all over the place which says that, oh mother, please give me that. None of these are there. No drama there at all. It's purely envisioning enlightenment. Your mind is filled with that enlightenment. That is the beauty of that mantra. That's why it's so powerful. If you're asking for something, and we talked about it in some other context, if there is an I in your asking, if there is a want in your asking, and if there is an asking itself, there is a problem in that prayer. Because when you'll be kept asking, you'll be kept wanting, because that is what you're attracting into your life. But how about praying without the want, without the I? Gayatri is a fantastic example. And what are you praying here for? Enlightenment. Directly. So, before we even go into the meaning, but then people use Gayatri Mantra for protection. They say, we chant it for, so I feel safer when I'm scared, I do it. And one would say, but it's for enlightenment, how does that protect you? But that's the beauty of all of these mantras that we chant, any mantra. The fact that it's a mantra, as opposed to a bhajan or a kirtan, these mantras are designed by rishis, the combination of sounds like we often talk about. These are sounds taken from different aspects of chakras, because the 50 petals of our 6 chakras are the 50 alphabets of Sanskrit. So they take combinations of these alphabets and chakras and give you the energy. Trayate iti mantra. Traya, trana. Trana is protection. That which protects you is mantra. That which protects you is a mantra. Mantra is meant for protection, period. Any mantra protects you, begins to protect. It begins to build a shield around you and begins to protect you. So that's the beauty of that. And within that protection, when I say protection, don't think of only protection against negative forces, destructive force and things like that. Protection from distraction. At the time when I want to chant the Gayatri, any mantra, I want to be completely absorbed in the energy of that mantra. And I want to be protected from distractions. That's why we go to a room and shut the door. Because you want to protect yourself from distraction. Protect may be an overkill of a word, but then I'm giving an idea. In mantra, when you just chant, as it becomes more and more potent within you, that energies begin to form, and that the neural pathways become more and more cleansed because of the constant repetition of the combination of the sounds. What happens is it begins to form an aura, a shield that automatically draws you into that sound vibrations. And you stay protected. Now that initial protection from distraction that protection can give you protection from all kinds of forces, evil forces and destructive forces, anything. And in fact it turns around and starts beginning where you become, that's when it begins to manifest itself, then you use that energy as a source to flow through you to others. So these are all the powers of a mantra. That's why there's so much power in a name, they say. The name of Rama is considered to be even more powerful than Rama himself. The name of Sai would be more powerful than Sai itself, because the name is so powerful. First comes a sound and then comes a form. Always, right? So the name has got great power. And Sanskrit names, because of the combination of sounds from Sanskrit, because it is combining sounds of 50 alphabets, 50 letters, 50 letters, all possible sounds are combined. So these are the characteristic features generally of any mantra. Gayatri becomes the queen of all mantras, if you will, because you're praying, it is done in a meter which is very, very friendly for the mind to concentrate upon. The meter, the way it's chanted, it's very friendly. Okay, number one. Number two, it was written by a sage called Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra was known for his enormous achievements in yoga and yogic achievements. He had so much power that it's believed that he was upset, so he created a world of his own, a universe of his own, and decided, I'm going to be the god of my own universe. We know that story. The idea is that in other words, he discovered a whole new dimension in the states of consciousness. I mean, you could interpret it that he actually built something in a geographical space out there, but in a more esoteric, if you understand it more from a yogic point of view, he discovered a new dimension of complete existence, of where you can experience complete abundance, prosperity, and everything. That's what he built. He said, I know this way. And he showed you the city he built, he showed you the path. And it is believed that Gayatri has the power to take you to his city. That means that dimension where you experience complete enlightenment, complete freedom from sorrow and suffering and all of that. That is the energy that is potent inside this mantra.
Can you say his name again?
Vishwamitra. Vishwa means universe, Mitra is friend of the universe. That's a name, it literally means. Sage Vishwamitra. If you Google about him, you will know a lot more.
Okay. Thank you.
He was one of the teachers of Rama. And these are some of the siddhas who have, I won't digress here because it goes into a whole different scope. In yoga, you have the capacity to transform your body through your intense practice, so that you can keep coming back and rebuild this body if you wish to, or you can choose to stay alive in another body. So you have Deha, Stula Deha, then you have Pranic Deha, then you have Daiva Sharira, Prana Sharira and Daiva Sharira. Stula Sharira is the gross body like you and I experience, but this could die. But I could continue living in Prana Sharira. And with intense practice, you can actually get a Deva Sharira, which you can keep coming back to Stula Sharira, rebuild a Stula Sharira and go back to Deva Sharira and so on. That's why you have some siddhas like Tirumular and all who wrote 3,000 verses of Tirumandiram, and it took him more than 400 years or something, and he's supposed to have lived for 4,000 years, and he still believed to live. Babaji,
years.
Sorry?
3,000.
3,000 years. 3,000 verses.
Every year he will come and say one verse.
One verse.
Yeah.
So imagine, 3,000 years he lived, is believed to have lived. Now, is it logically possible? No. But then if you believe that Babaji is today, for example, the Babaji that Paramahamsa Yogananda talks about, it's the same thing. So in yoga practice, there is a path for that. Because of intense pranayama and meditation, you can learn to discard this body and stay alive in a pranic sharira and help and guide people, and then choose another body or come back to the same, or rebuild this body, rebuild the atoms that constitute, appear in front of people and do that. Now, being devotees of Baba, and some people have directly experienced this, Baba reappearing in different places, whether Shirdi Baba or Satya Sai Baba, we have experienced that, and even today there are gurus who do that. They appear to you in flesh and blood, and you feel their presence. It's so strong. You feel the pranic sharira, you feel the Daiva Sharira. Daiva Sharira is divine body or pranic body or the gross body. It's possible, correct? Now, So it's believed that Vishwamitra is one of these sages, like Agastya, Vishwamitra. These are sages that continue to guide spiritual aspirants. They give you the wisdom. It comes in so subtly. When you say you speak, sometimes you get ideas. There is somebody giving you that, creating a path, opening it. It's of course through our efforts, but then there is an element where somebody has to give it to you. You know, you could dress well and you get very well prepared for the interview, but somebody has to sign on your appointment letter and give you the job, right? So it's like almost there are these gurus. I know I'm sounding too mystical, but I believe in this so much, and the experience is so clear in my life, and I'm sure all of us experience this, either through Baba directly, Swami directly, or through other teachers, that there is always, you feel like this is beyond me, and there is somebody has gifted this to me. But that's what it is. When you understand the pranic sharira, or when you open to it, you'll experience it. If you close your mind, then the universe somehow is very respectful of your space. Okay, you closed your mind, I'll wait. It's alright, you close your mind, take your time, take a few more births before you open. But if you say, I don't know, I'm so confused, but you know what, I'll keep my mind open, I'm open. That's all they want. That humility to open your mind rather than saying, I know this is all like old wives' tale or fairy tales. Once you dismiss it off, then it stays dismissed. But if one is open to saying, maybe it's true, maybe not, let's see, then there's a high possibility that these things happen. So Vishwamitra, coming back to this, so Vishwamitra therefore is one of these sages whose blessings you will incur when you chant this Gayatri, because he is the one who wrote it. He is the one who discovered Gayatri Mantra. He is the one who wrote it. He is the one who envisioned Gayatri for the benefit of humanity, and says this is what the prayer should be. What is the most powerful mantra on earth? Because he is known for doing the best and the brightest and the most powerful things, right? So he discovered this dimension, universe, which was so unique, and he said Gayatri Mantra. So Gayatri Mantra is therefore it's a very popular mantra. Most of the people know it, and it goes. There is a popular version and a less popular version. Let me say the popular version first. Om Bhur Bhuvaswaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. This is a popular version. What is the less popular version? It's a little longer. Om Bhuhu Om Bhuvaha Om Suvaha Om Maha Om Janaha Om Tapaha Om Satyam Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. The prayer is the constant, but then to go to that Tat, the less popular version is they touch on all the 7 chakras. Because what are we doing before we come to that, right? Om Bhur Swaha. The main Gayatri, Tat Savitur. Tat. That. Savitur. The only way that you can refer to that supreme consciousness, which gives enlightenment, is that brilliance. The only way you can refer to the brilliance, you need a metaphor, right? The mind needs a metaphor to compare it. You just say brilliance like what? Even when I say brilliance, in each of our mind, we understand brilliance because we have some unspoken metaphor in our mind that we know what brilliance means. That's how we learned what brilliance was, right? Because we've seen something very brilliant. So in this case, the most brilliant thing in the universe that you and I know of is the sun. And so another name for the sun is Savitur, the one that is responsible for all of this creation. Savitur is sun, representing sun. But sun is used here as symbolic for that brilliance, brilliant. Tat Savitur, that which is like Savitur. There is a comparison there with Savitur there. You're not praying to the sun for enlightenment. people could miss that by thinking I'm praying to the sun for enlightenment. You could. Sun is still an aspect of the divine energy, but sun is used as a metaphor to compare to that which is far more brilliant. But for you to imagine that, we can't. The most brightest and the most brilliant thing we have ever seen is the sun. So let's take sun as an example. That's why it says Tat Savitur Varenyam. Varenyam is worthy of respect, respectful. Tat Savitur Varenyam. So when you think of that brilliant sun, automatically the first thing comes is venerance. A sense of respect comes there. And Bhargo, then you describe that. So the first thing is venerance. Tat Savitur Varenyam is the worshipful attitude. So almost says first develop a worshipful attitude. Even before going into meditation or anything else. The prayer has got three portions. Tat Savitur Varenyam is the first portion. Tat Savitur, you addressed it, but you addressed it with reverence. Varenyam. Because you end like that. Tat Savitur Varenyam. And then you go into meditation. Now that you have tuned into Tat Savitur and you have brought in reverence, you go Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Bhargo is brilliance. Bhargo is powerful, brilliance. Bhargo. I wanted to name my dog Bhargo.
Oh.
It's a nice name. Bhargo. It has to be a big dog though. Bhargo. I'm kidding. Bhargo is like powerful, divine, brilliant Deva. Devasya. Dhimahi. I meditate. Dhi is buddhi. It is, and we were talking about pronunciation yesterday. So Dhi is buddhi. Dhi. Mahi. My buddhi. I'm meditating upon that. So Bhargo Devasya Dhimai. Now you have got into meditation. So you first started with prayer. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Prayer in the sense of an attitude of reverence. And then you entered into meditation. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. And then what comes next is an expression of an experience that comes from meditating upon this brilliance. And you're expressing that as an experience. What comes next? So, Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Now meditation. Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayad. So, Dhimahi, my mind is full of it. And therefore, Dhiyo, may this intellect that is full of this brilliance become illuminated. Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayad. Naf here is us, strangely. There's no I in this at all. It's us. It's almost like at that moment of brilliance and worship, you pray for the whole community, for everybody, everything rather. May we be enlightened. That's what it is. And it's a blessing you're giving. May we. It's almost like you're experiencing that enlightenment that comes from that brilliance is being passed into your buddhi is so suffused now with that brilliance that you're finding an expression there. That is a product of meditation that comes in the previous section, right? So Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhiyo Yonah Prachodaya. Enlightenment happens. So there's no please give me, take mercy on me, or divine mother, divine father. There's no room for any of those adjectives. It's a very powerful mantra which takes you from reverence, deep meditation, and enlightenment. In order to address the Tat Savitur, so the Gayatri Mantra is Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayad. 3 sections. Okay. I think Baba has given a discourse also on similar lines, but all these are picked up from Baba, those on numerous terms. These 3 concepts. It's very powerful and very beautiful. And so this is how you understand Gayatri as 3 powerful sections, right? But before that comes, where is the Tat Savitur? Where is the Savituhu? The sun that you're reaching out to. This sun is a symbol, right? But the Tat Savitur that you're talking about is, where is he? They say is Bhur Bhuva Swaha, is beyond Bhur Bhuva Swaha, is beyond all these three worlds. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat. That Tat is beyond Bhur Bhuva Swaha. That means earth, heavens, and all of this. Bhur, Bhuva, and Swaha. Swaha is heavens. So the three, one way to understand is the gross, the subtle, and the causal plane. One that is beyond it, right? That is because it's a popular only three. But the real, probably a more correct way to say this is, when you say Bhur Bhuva Swaha, it's a shorter way of saying Bhur Bhuva Swaha Maha Jana Tapa Satyam, and beyond that. Instead of saying all the seven every time, they will say the three represents all those worlds, beyond all these worlds. That means beyond all the seven worlds, in other words, beyond all the seven chakras. The Tat is here, above the chakras. So Om Bhuhu is Mooladhara, gross reality as you and I experience it. Bhuvaha is experienced through senses, sensual experiences. So your senses tell you a different story than my senses tell you a different story, right? So there is a slight element of subtlety now brought in, correct? You and I can watch the same color and you might like it, I might not like it. How does that happen? Because of our subtlety, our preferences. So we have become subtle there already. It's not the same for everybody. So there's a different level of reality. Om Bhuhu, Om Bhuvaha, Om Suvaha. This is the third level of reality, where the ego begins to play a role. So there are different chakras. So when you say seven worlds, and this from the yoga point of view, yoga sees this as seven chakras, but because from each chakra, when you look at the world from here, your lenses and that level, their reality is different. When you're looking from here, that reality is very different. You're seeing a very different, like in your different levels in the stadium, you're watching the same match, but then each time you go to a different place, you'll see, wow, this looks much better from here, or that looks much better from there. It's the same match though, but your perspective changes. So it depends on where you're looking from, right? It's like that aquarium which has 3 stories. Have you seen these large aquariums? When I came from India for the first time, this was like I don't know, it was like, it just blew my mind to think that there could be fish tanks that big, that it had 3 stories or 4 stories. I seen one in California, and you at the bottom level there's a whole different species, and then you go up, there's a whole different species, they don't come down. It's amazing. And so different levels of reality open up from different layers. It's the same thing, that's why they look like 7 different worlds. People who are in the Mooladhara will say, what are you talking about all this? I have no time for that. I can't see what you're seeing, because you're seeing it from a different chakra. Just 2 different levels of reality. So that is what the yogi understands by 7 different worlds. So when you chant the Gayatri, you say, the longer version is Om Bhuhu, Om Bhuha, Om Suvaha, Om Maha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam, Om Tat. Savitur, that Savitur that you're talking about is even beyond the highest, even beyond the highest. Then you are saying that Deva I'm meditating upon. What else can you get other than enlightenment when you take your mind with every chant there? Then there is a third version, the pranayama version, which is taught in the south predominantly, which you see in the upasana in the morning. I suddenly quieten down and do that. So how does that go? So there the chant is Om Bhuhu, Om Bhuvaha, Om Suvaha, Om Maha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam. You're holding your breath. Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. And then what happens to exhale? Om Apaha Jyotir Rasaha Amritam Brahma Bhur Bhuvasuvaro. There's an exhalation. And may that completely fill Jyotir Rasa, Bhurbhuvaswaram, just fill my entire being be filled with that light and fill my whole universe and the worlds that I know of, my existence, fill it with Jyotir. So the Jyotir Rasaha Bhurbhuvaswaram comes there. So there is a third version is a pranayama. So how to practice it? All of these are available for practice. One is pure chant. Om Bhurbhuvaswaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. So there is a chant. Then there is a meditative thing. Om Bhu, Om Bhuva, Om Swa. There is a chakra meditation that you do. And then you take your consciousness up here and chant the mantra. And then you go repeat it, so constantly raising your consciousness up. And then there's a pranayama part of it where you go Om Bhu, Om Bhuha, Om Suvaha, Om Maha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam. Hold your breath. Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Apaha Jyotir Rasaha Amritam Brahma Bhurbhuvasuvaro. You breathe fully out. And then again, Om, and then you can do from constantly. So when you want to do, since we practice yoga, if you want to do alternate nostril breathing, we can do 4:8, or you can do the Gayatri. Breathe in, hold the breath for a little bit, and breathe out fully, and then breathe in from this side now, hold it, and breathe out. So you're focusing on the breath, you're focusing on the Gayatri Mantra. Why do they do that before Upasana when you do worship? Shuklamardam and do this? Because this sets your mind in a deep meditative state. And then using that mind in that state, you enter into prayer and ritualistic worship. We may not do that nowadays. We just do it looking here and there. That's besides the point. That doesn't, because we don't do it, doesn't take away the sanctity of what it's meant for. But when we say Shukla Amardam, we pray for Ganesha to wake us up, knock yourself out of sloth, and then you chant this. So you enter into a state of the deep meditation. And then you do the ritualistic prayer. That is where pranayama comes in. And Baba would say, Baba is very graceful when he initiated people into this mantra. He said at least chant 3 times a day. He says it's enough if you chant 3 times a day. Personally, I feel there's a catch in that. 3 times easy, okay, you are looking here and there and chanting 3 times a day and you'll figure out nothing much is happening. But that 3 times, if you can completely absorb yourself and chant, understanding every syllable and every word and experiencing that, then that 3 times is enough. It's not mechanical chanting of 3 times, but in a very spiritual manner, experience that Om Bhur-Bhuvaswaha Tat Savitur Varenyam. That Savitur I'm going to pray. But what kind of Savitur it is? Bhargo Deva. That Deva, that divine. Deva is God, deity. That Deva is Bhargo. Brilliant, shining, splendorous, full of splendor. So, Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai. That splendorous Deva is what I meditate upon. So at that moment, your mind should explode in that splendorous light. And then you say, may that light descend now and fill this little mind that's trying to comprehend. Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Not only this mind, but all the minds. That's where you can see now why Gayatri is so powerful, right? It makes sense. That's why it's so powerful. When you chant this, and this is, and I'll come to you in a second. Let me finish this thought. So in addition to the meaning, there are so many sounds that are hidden inside of this. Bhuhu, bhuva, suha, maha. You're tapping into each chakra when you do that. Tat savitur r is there. We talked about r in mantras. There is an Agni element in there. Dhiyo, yo, nah, prachodayat. All kinds of sounds are embedded and hidden inside these mantras. Very, very beautifully crafted. And it's like a song. There's a beauty in this mantra. it's not as dry as a regular Bijakshara mantra where you're just saying Aim and Kareem and things like that. Here there's a beauty, there's a meaning, but hidden along with the meaning are the sounds, are the words that were used to describe these. That is why Vishwamitra was so powerful in crafting this. And the fact that this has lasted over thousands of years explains why this is so powerful. Yeah, lovely.
I prefer in the morning or in the evening?
Anytime. Anytime is good, as long as you have that frame of mind to say, it's not going to take more than 5 minutes for me, but let me put aside everything and seek that complete enlightenment from the Supreme. And I can use that enlightenment for whatever I want. That's different at that level. At that point, just forget it. Ideally, I wouldn't suggest that we chant this Gayatri Mantra with a laundry list with us. Oh, this is why I'm chanting the mantra. It's not necessary at all. You're tapping into the highest supreme energy, and therefore, at that level, when you see the splendorous Deva and you're meditating on splendorous Deva, the only thing you're saying, let's fill me with that splendor. And you're expressing that. How the buddhi, the mind, the buddhi, the intellect, the higher intuitive power is now filled with that supreme energy. There's no time now for little things, right? There won't be time when you're faced with such brilliance. That is way. So you leave your world and go into this Vishwamitra's world. That's why he wants to take you there. Go beyond the 7 centers of consciousness. Go into that world, Tat Savitur world. That's why we chant the other Surya Ashtakam, the Mandala Ashtakam, because Mandala Ashtakam can be combined with the Gayatri Mantra. And it says you enter the world of Surya when you chant this regularly. We do that in the morning prayers along with our chants. Mandala Ashtakam is a very powerful chant because you're explaining Surya, you're meditating on the sun. You're using at that point, all these meditations, you use sun as a symbol for that supreme energy. That's why the core energy of sun is Rudra, the supreme consciousness from which all of this emanated. That's a belief, right? So sun becomes a gateway to reach out to that supreme. And therefore, this is one of the most powerful mantras that protects, mantra that grants liberation, enlightenment, empowered lifestyle, and everything embedded in one mantra is Gayatri Mantra. And knowing, all of us have witnessed Sai Baba's life, if not all of his life, most of his life at least. He was not the one to initiate people into mantras. Yeah. Right? You would say, go out, serve, and open your heart and think you're God. And he was very Advaitic in his approach. But there was if there was one mantra he initiated hundreds of people, that was Gayatri Mantra. Yeah. So in other words, if an avatar has to initiate people into a mantra, it can only be one of the most powerful mantras of enlightenment. So what else you need? Just do this and I'm enlightening you. So we have his voice recorded for posterity, the way it's chanted. So even if you listen to that, it's very divinely meditating.